Welcome back to A Couple Threads. I'm Heather.
I'm Armand.
Before we jump into today's stories, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for new episodes every single week. The theme I have for us today is sibling disputes.
Sweet.
This story, coming from r/am I the 2 years old, titled, Am I the for forcing my brother to buy me a new engagement ring? I, 26 male, am proposing to my girlfriend, 24 female, on our 4th anniversary next month. I've been planning this for about a month or so, and I picked the ring a couple weeks ago. The one I got was on sale, so I managed to get it at a surprisingly low price. Last weekend, I told my brother, 33 male, about my plans and showed him the ring. He informed me that he was planning on proposing to his girlfriend as well. The next day, my brother came to my apartment while my girlfriend was out. He asked me if he could borrow my ring to propose to his girlfriend. I thought he was joking at first, but no. His plan was to propose to his girlfriend, explain he was using my ring as a placeholder, and then take her to pick out her own ring later. His reasoning was that he didn't want to spend too much money right away in case she didn't say yes. I've never heard of placeholder rings, so I said no, and the conversation moved on. On Tuesday, he proposed to his girlfriend with my ring. He'd taken it before leaving my apartment. I got distracted at work and didn't notice it was gone until his fiancée sent a picture of herself wearing the ring to our family group chat. I called him to ask about the ring, and he immediately apologized and said he'd keep his promise and give it back to me. But at this point, my girlfriend had seen it and his fiancée had posted about it on social media, so it was pointless for me to propose using the same ring. We fought about it, and he confessed that while he had told his fiancée it was a placeholder, he didn't tell her where he had gotten it from. I felt more angry and betrayed about him going behind my back and taking the ring after I said no, more than the fact that he stole it. I also know his fiancée enough to know she wouldn't like to learn her engagement ring had been stolen from me. So I told my brother I'd tell her the truth if he didn't buy me a new ring. He fought against it for a few hours, but finally gave up and agreed. We went to a different jewelry store yesterday, and I picked a new ring. I managed to stay in my price range, but the new one was still $100 more expensive. My brother bought the ring, but is still accusing me of being inconsiderate and childish. He is insistent he would have given me back the ring had I given him the opportunity, and I didn't need to threaten him to spend so much money on me. He's now refusing to talk to me. I don't know how to feel about this anymore. I'd usually talk to my brother about these things, and it's surreal that he's the one I'm fighting with. I can't tell my girlfriend, and many of our friends overlap as well. The only other person who knows about this is our mom, who's divided. She thinks that what my brother did was wrong, and I am in the right to be mad at him, but I didn't have to stoop as low as I did by threatening his relationship. So, am I the...
I agree with their mom. I'm kind of confused on why he would. I'm not confused on it. He wants him to buy him a new ring because he used his ring, and now it's going to be obvious that that's the same ring, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of tough because if that was my brother and he needed a placeholder ring, I would back him up and probably go with it.
Okay,
You think so?
continue your thoughts.
It's tough. Like I understand. There's no like he's an he's an. I think
Personally, I feel that that's weird for a lot of reasons.
okay.
One, saying don't know if she'll say yes is crazy because if you're proposing, I've never proposed to anyone, but if I'm proposing, I should know that you're going to say yes. Two, it is a very good point about already posting pictures in the ring. The girlfriend has already seen the ring. If he proposes using the same one, the girlfriend's going to look like she was the second, when in reality, it was hers to begin with.
Is it that noticeable?
Yes.
ring
To women.
Okay.
Yes. And lastly, if you want a placeholder ring, go to Walmart. You don't use a super expensive actual ring as a placeholder ring.
He probably didn't think it that way. He was like, okay, if even if he's going to, I agree with what you're saying. Where if you are going to propose, you should be confident that the person will say yes. Like people will know that.
Yeah.
If you're iffy to a point where you need a placeholder ring, then that's a different situation and that's a matter of discussion within
Mm-hmm.
your relationship. He didn't think of, I'm sure he didn't think about like getting a way cheaper ring as a placeholder ring. And if she said yes, then he could be like, by the way, like I'm getting us a better ring
Yeah.
or
See,
whatever.
that would be my first thought. Like, if I needed a placeholder for money reasons or for doubts, I guess, I'm going to Walmart.
But he also, OP, who's writing this post, shouldn't be threatening their relationship over that as well. It's
Yeah.
wrong for him to steal the ring, even though he said no.
Yeah.
Okay, even though he said no, it's definitely wrong for him to steal the ring and use it. It's just tough. It depends on how close the brothers are. I mean, my relationship with my brother, we're very close. If that was a situation, I probably would have caved. I'm being very honest. I
That's
probably would
fair.
have been like, okay, fine, use it, but then,
I understand.
give it back. But I'm not gonna be like, I probably wouldn't say no. Or if I did say no, I definitely wouldn't threaten the relationship and tell his new fiance, like, hey, he used my ring.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
um, it's if like I said, it's one of those things where he's not the. I agree with the mom on this one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I understand that. Comments, however, don't really agree with you.
Okay.
Comments are very anti-brother.
Okay.
Overall vote is not the on this one.
Hmm.
Top comment is what is wrong with him? He stole the ring from you.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
Um, Other comments are could he be jealous? That way he's trying to propose before you do, kind of thing.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think it really is face value on this one that he truly needed a placeholder. And he's like, oh, you got a ring. Can I just borrow it and use it as crappy as that sounds? And I get what they're saying. Like, yeah, he's in the wrong. It's just the whole threatening part
Yeah,
is a little
and I
bit
do agree
much.
with that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think like if he told you no, that should have been the end of it. You shouldn't have
Agreed.
still
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
Well, good to know that you're gonna give your brother an engagement ring.
Exactly. Even though he's married.
Yeah. Oh. Next story coming from r/am I the 6 months old, titled "Am I the for sending my sister flowers anonymously and making her husband upset?" I, male 37, have always been super close to my sister, female 35. We talk regularly, and during one such conversation, she told me she's been feeling very depressed and overwhelmed lately. As we were talking, I could tell she was holding back tears. So, I decided to do something nice for her. I contacted a local florist and put in an order for some flowers, and had them delivered to my sister's place of work with a note reading, "Thinking of you." A few hours later, the florist called me and told me a man has been calling them non-stop and demanding they tell him who sent his wife flowers. They tried to explain it was against their policy to reveal that information, but the man wouldn't take no for an answer. Apparently, he became so aggressive and threatening over the phone, the shop called me up and asked my permission to reveal my name as the sender. The man is being my brother in law. It turns out my sister had called her husband and thanked him for the flowers. He told her he hadn't sent her any flowers and accused her of having an affair. He believed her affair partner had sent them to her, which is why he called the florist like a lunatic, demanding names. Now my sister is even more depressed than ever, and she's been fighting with my brother-in-law ever since. My friends think I should have included my name on the card. Had I done that, they say this blow up would have never happened. I say it's my brother-in-law to blame, as he's the one who can't control his temper. So, am I the
These are tough to. What did you expect? Like, I get it, out of the kindness of his heart and doing something nice, sure. But I agree with his friends. He should have included his name
Yeah.
because if you're going to send flowers anonymously, what do you expect the other person is going to react? Like her husband.
Yeah.
Like if you receive flowers out of nowhere, I'd be like,
What's going on? Yeah.
where's this from? I'd probably call the florist. I wouldn't threaten them, but I'd be like, where did this come from? You know, it's weird because as her husband, he's going to think a bajillion different thoughts that like, okay, is she cheating? So like that's valid in his approach.
For sure.
Yeah, I think he should have included his name.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I understand from a woman's perspective, when you receive flowers anonymously, it definitely has a little more of like, oh, someone's thinking about me, as opposed to like from your brother. And I get that part of it. Like he might have just really been trying to brighten her day, didn't need the recognition or whatever for it. But yeah, when she's married, and that's a line you shouldn't cross.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it for like 5 seconds before you send the flowers. Like, what would this cause
Yeah.
between them? Because I don't see a scenario where the husband would be happy that his wife received flowers anonymously.
Yeah, I agree.
If his name was on it, it'd be like, okay, her brother sent it to her. Maybe I should step up my game a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone is in agreement with us on this one.
Okay.
Overall vote is
Mhm.
top comment is eh. So I'm not so sure how anyone thinks sending flowers anonymously to a married woman would end up well. You are 37, old enough to know better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's as simple as that. Like, he is a grown man, knowing that she's a married woman. You could have had the same message still, just like signed your name.
By you.
Right.
Yeah. And it would avoid everything after that.
Yeah. All right. This next one is a little long, so
Okay.
bear with me. Coming from r/am I overreacting? 1 month old. Titled, Am I overreacting for threatening to take my sister to court after her toddler destroyed my 2000 gaming setup because she said I should have baby-proofed the apartment? Hi, Reddit. I'm female 25, and I'm honestly at my breaking point with this one. I need outside perspective because my entire family is acting crazy for me standing my ground. So, I am a student software developer and pretty serious PC gamer in my free time. I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment that I've spent years making cozy and functional. I saved up for a long time to build my dream PC setup. Triple monitors, custom mechanical keyboard, special chair, the works. Altogether, my setup is worth a little bit over $2,000, and I take care of it as if it's my child. Last weekend, my older sister, 30 female, asked if she could crash at my place for one night because her apartment was being fumigated and her husband was out of town. She has a 3-year-old son, Max, who let's say is spirited. I love him, but he's a little chaos goblin. I hesitated, but she swore she'd keep an eye on him and that it'd just be for one night. They show up Saturday afternoon, and immediately it's clear she wasn't kidding about Max being a handful. Within 10 minutes of arriving, he'd pulled 4 books off my shelf, thrown my houseplants on the floor, and spilled juice on my area rug. I tried to stay chill. He's 3. I understand. But I asked my sister politely to please keep him out of my office, where my PC setup is. She rolls her eyes and goes, He's just exploring. He's curious. It's normal.
I hate that.
But she closes the office door anyway. Cut to Sunday morning. I wake up to screaming. Max had apparently woken up before his mom, managed to open the office door, and decided my setup was his new jungle gym. He pulled down one of my monitors, cracking the screen. He stuck crackers into the PC's tower ventilation slots, yanked out my keyboard caps, and had colored on my chair with permanent marker. The cherry on top, he poured apple juice into the tower. Into it. When I tell you I went silent, I mean dead silent. My sister comes in, sees the damage, and just says, "Oh no," in, in this incredibly flat tone, just like someone had knocked over a cup of coffee. I start freaking out, and she has the audacity to say, "You should have baby-proofed the room if it was that important to you." I lost it. I told her that 1, she knew he wasn't supposed to be in there. 2, this is my space, not a daycare. And 3, baby-proofing a $2,000 gaming setup is not standard requirement for adults who live by themselves. She told me to calm down and said that he's just a kid and stuff is replaceable. I told her she could replace it then. She said she didn't have the money right now, but maybe in a few months she could give me a few hundred. I told her that wasn't acceptable and that she needed to take full responsibility. She left in a huff, and now my whole family is blowing up my phone. My mom says I'm being materialistic and should understand that my nephew didn't mean it. My dad said I should have locked the door if it was that important. My brother actually said, "Why do you even need 3 monitors anyway? This is kind of overkill." I filed a claim with my insurance, but there's no guarantee it'll be covered since it technically was guest damage. I also told her that if she does not pay up, I will take her to court for what happened. Now I'm getting texts from my sister demanding an apology for blaming her kid for being curious. I told her I'd drop it if she covered the cost of repairs and/or replacements, or at least meet me halfway, and she blocked me. So, am I overreacting if I take my sister to court over this?
I feel like court that's a little tough, but I would be pissed. I agree with her because if she lives by herself, first of all, you don't need to baby proof anything. You live by yourself. Second of all, you can't baby proof a computer setup, really. The only thing would be is locking the door. Which that's what I would have done if that was in that scenario, if knowing that the kid is a little disaster, which I hate it when they say, "Oh, he likes to explore." Like, that means he's a train wreck. I hate that. I don't know. This comes down to just parenting, man. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't destroy things at 3. I don't think so. Maybe.
That you remember?
That I remember. Possibly. But if I did, it happened once and because
Never again.
and never again because of traditional parenting. But no, she's not overreacting. That's messed up. And typically I feel like when your family is against you, you're in the wrong. And that's what I was going with from the beginning. But if I was in her place, yeah, I would be pissed and I would demand reimbursement for all that. Because number one, like, you're also crashing at my place. This is not your place. I'm being nice enough to let you in my place and to sleep here. The least you can do is control your kid. Because that's not your place.
Yeah.
That's not your stuff. And this whole crap about, like, oh, you don't need 3 monitors, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. If I want to have 5 monitors in my house, that's my decision. That's my house. Yeah. So I'm 100% in agreement with her.
I am too. I agree. Comments are pretty much just saying this kid is a menace and his parents are for sure on the hook financially. It's their kid, so their responsibility. And everyone else is kind of saying, like, I would have not tolerated this. You were hesitant to even let them come over anyway. That kind of thing. And I couldn't imagine. I do have a couple updates for you. First update was just a couple hours later. This one, all it says is sister still has me blocked, but her husband has reached out to me to find out what happened. That's the first update.
Okay.
Second update is kind of just a clarification update, basically saying I have a technically one bedroom studio apartment, about 400 square feet. The landlord converted an old closet into a makeshift office, so that's why it doesn't lock, etc., etc.
That's true because closet doors. I was gonna say like that would have been the first thing I would have done is lock it, but
Yeah,
closet like our walk-in closet doesn't have a lock.
exactly.
And if they had a big enough walk-in closet in a studio that they convert into office, then yeah, it wouldn't have a lock.
For
I'm
sure.
not gonna go buy a lock just because your kid's coming. Control your kid.
And then I have one pretty big update. Okay. This one was about a week after. Getting into it. Last Saturday, my brother-in-law came over to check out the damage himself. He actually brought Max, the toddler, with him, which I was almost livid about at first. But he had a reason. He asked Max to try opening the office/closet door. The kid couldn't do it. The door was too heavy for him. You probably can guess where this is going. Brother-in-law offered to take my PC to the store that originally built it for me, just to see what was fixable. I agreed, but I asked for something in writing just so I had some peace of mind. We put together a little arrangement that he'd be responsible for it while it was with him. Yeah, it was just a formality and would not hold much merit anywhere, but it helped me feel a little bit more in control. On Monday, he dropped it off at the shop and gave them my number so they could keep me updated. He also told me he confronted my sister about how things played out. I sent him my original Reddit post too. He read the comments and apparently showed them to her. She still hasn't unblocked me, and from what I've heard, was not happy about the fact that my brother-in-law was listening to me and taking my side. Anyway, I went to see the PC today. The shop said it's mostly salvageable. It needs very, very careful internal cleaning and a few fans replaced and some wiring fixed. But overall, the main parts survived somehow. Brother-in-law told me he'll cover the cost of the repair. No hesitation. When I brought up what my sister said about not being able to even pay $200, he said she's lying. He also said he's not sure Max actually did all the damage. He thinks the door was left open on purpose, or that my sister might have even done some of it herself. Based on the height of the tower and where the crackers ended up, it didn't quite add up to a toddler doing it by himself. Apparently, she's been telling him that I have a gambling addiction, and that maybe this whole thing will wake me up, which is new. She used to be supportive, or at least indifferent. No idea where that came from. So yeah, that's where we're at. My PC is still being cleaned up and fixed. My brother-in-law is covering the cost. Sister still has me blocked and won't talk to me. Still tempted to start something with her, to be honest, especially if she did this on purpose. Still not ruling out small claims court, depending on how things go from here.
That's insane. Wow. Because in my head, I was like, just like my towers on a wood plank on the floor.
Yeah. But so I think they're like up higher.
Up high.
Yeah.
If it's okay, that makes sense. If like how most people do it, I feel like is they put it on their desk. Mm-hmm. And true, usually 3-year-olds are like what, like yay big. Man. Can you imagine? Oh, that just irks me to the core. Because can you imagine having them stay over because you're being nice and she pulls that crap?
And your own sister too. It's not like you let some stranger in off the street or something.
I wouldn't even want my computer repaired. I want a new one. I don't want apple juice and crackers and chat. Like I'm gonna find pieces throughout the years.
Yeah.
Screw repairing it. I would demand a new one.
It's crazy too that like I mean good for the brother-in-law, but it's crazy that like he's going against his wife and like taking his side.
He knows. Because he knows. Yeah. He knows something is up. Typically, the husband isn't going to just take the other person's side unless they know like she's guilty of something. And blames it on the kid.
Yeah, and bringing the kid back with him to prove his point of like, look, he can't open this door or reach this stuff is crazy.
If he tried opening the door and I see that he cannot open it, I'd be like, maybe he still figured it out.
Right.
But if the tower is unreachable for him to pour apple juice and jam crackers into it, then
it's kind of
sus.
Yeah. There's no other answer. It's kind of clear cut at that point.
Yeah.
Sorry to make you angry. Yeah. Do you think like you would ever forgive your sister? If that was your sister?
You're never allowed in my place again.
Or hanging out in public parks.
If that, it's going to take a minute, but definitely not allowed in my place again. Even if, hot take, but even if I have a gambling problem.
Who cares?
If it's not affecting you, like if I'm not borrowing money from you or whatever, you still have no right to destroy my stuff.
Even if you're borrowing money from your sister, that's still not reason to destroy your things.
Sure.
Because as the sister, you can just be like, no, I'm not giving you any more money.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, she has no reason to.
No. There's no reason at all that would make that acceptable.
I think she has a couple screws loose.
Yeah. And blaming it on your 3-year-old. Yeah.
Even if it was the kid, I would not. I can't blame kids under like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's going to come down to the parent. If the kid's going to be a loose cannon, fine. But you would know that as a parent.
And it's your job to control that.
Control that, yeah. So I wouldn't be mad at the kid.
No, I agree.
Jeez. I got all hot now.
I'm very sorry. Are you ready for the next story?
Yeah.
Move on from that one.
On.
Okay. Next story, coming from r/relationship advice, 5 years old, titled, My fiance's sister, 28 female, told me she's in love with me, 27 male, and my fiance is just settling for me. My fiance, Nancy, and I are getting married in December. We've been going through small rough patch since late June. I felt like everything was okay, but we were just a little out of sync. We've been together for over 2 years, and this has happened once before, but we usually just come out of it. I have a very good relationship with my fiance's twin sister, Peggy. We hung out a lot before she introduced me to her sister, so I've known her longer, and she's one of my best friends, and is probably the person that knows me better than my family and Nancy. She and her sister also have a great relationship. No resentment, no anger towards each other, just sisterly love. Saturday, I received a string of messages from Peggy that were telling me not to marry Nancy. She told me she didn't love me like she should, and if we got married, we'd be in a loveless marriage. I told her I didn't believe her. She sent me screenshots of messages between her and Nancy. I wish I hadn't read them. She said that I wasn't the love of her life, that I wasn't her soulmate, that I was just a good option and would be a good provider and a great dad to her kids. That I was a nice guy that any girl would be lucky to have, but he's not the one for me. I asked Peggy why she'd told me all this, and she said she's my best friend and she loves me. She said she's wanted me forever, but couldn't come between her sister and me like that. She said she'd love me like a wife should, and that she fantasizes being about with me intimately, and that I drive her crazy. She asked me to leave Nancy and come be with her. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do about anything. I feel like my life had been turned completely upside down. I don't know where to go from here.
Leave. That's where you go. Leave. If those messages are truly what they are, and seeing that, number one, at least the minimum should be you don't get married with this girl.
For sure.
I wouldn't end up with her sister either, because then
that's messy.
You're still in the family. Now you got to deal with that. Like,
see your girlfriend and her ex and your ex at Christmas.
Yeah. No, I would just leave. Call everything quits. Just
Go everything.
Yeah.
Start over from
just
scratch.
start over. Yeah. Simple as that, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not simple, but the answer is simple.
I agree. Comments. Top comment is, if you believe that your fiance might feel this way, then it's a red flag, big enough to block the wedding aisle. However, if you don't think that she feels this way, discuss with her that maybe her sister might be lying.
See, that was one of my thoughts, was because you could always Photoshop or fake
Yeah.
texts and things like that. So, but before leaving it all that, I didn't mention it, was confront her.
Yeah.
And be like,
Have a
is
conversation.
this actually what you guys talk about?
Yeah.
And then hopefully you'll know from there if that's the truth. And if that is the truth, then you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because the sister could be kind of crazy and fake those texts just so you leave her and then you be with her.
Yeah. And I think, like, if it's not real, I think the sister knew what she was doing by waiting for them to be in a rough patch. Because when you're already in that mindset, then you kind of be like, oh, like, things are starting
Sure.
to add up now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But first verify the messages.
Yeah.
Make sure it's legit.
So I do have an update.
Okay.
But the update was deleted. So I only have comments from the update. But from what I believe, based on what I'm seeing, it looks like she was lying. It looks like they were photoshopped and that it was all a scam to get the man from her sister.
Yep. Can't put things past people. People are crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy that, like, you would do that to your own family. Like, I don't know. You see your sister's happy and you can't just let her be happy. You have to make up this whole elaborate thing to break them up and just hope that he falls for you.
I'm sure he was driving her crazy. Like that part, I believe. Like, she just really did want him and went to those lengths to try and get him. But yeah, some people don't see family the way we do, I feel like.
No. And I feel like any sane person, like, from the man's perspective, even if that happened, like you said, I'm not going for the sister. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Like I said, if those messages were true, it still wouldn't. I would just cut everything. Just leave.
Starting completely over.
Yeah. Don't be involved with that family.
No, for real. Next story, coming from r/am I the 2 months old, titled, Would I be the for not going to my sister's wedding because her venue is not wheelchair accessible? My 24 female sister, 30 female, is getting married soon. I'm very happy for her, and there are no issues between the two of us. She really wanted to get married in a specific location, and she got it, which is great. But that location is pretty much not accessible at all to wheelchairs. I have a pretty significant disability, paraplegia, and I cannot move at all without a wheelchair, so going there would be very tough. She told me that I could get carried up the stairs and then stay at the tables, but that's not something I'm comfortable with. Getting carried is very uncomfortable and dangerous, especially when done repeatedly by someone that isn't used to it, and I really don't want to have to be carried to the toilets at a wedding full of strangers, or even worse, something happens and there's an accident. Then I also wouldn't expect people to just sit with me while the celebrations are going on, but the idea of sitting there and watching for hours doing nothing feels wrong. Especially that after a few hours of sitting hurts a lot on my skin and it becomes a concern. But I wouldn't ask someone to leave the wedding just for me. I'm not upset about the fact that they picked the venue. It's their day, and I don't expect them to plan it based on my needs. But I also don't think she understands that it's not as easy as she thinks. There are so many things that could go very, very wrong. I intend to get them a nice gift and propose to maybe spend quality time together either after or before the wedding. One of my cousins told me it's just one day and it's very important for my sister, so I should make an effort and get out of my comfort zone. but I feel like endangering my health isn't as simple as getting out of my comfort zone. So, would I be the asshole for not going?
I'm about to get canceled for this one.
That's fine.
I think it's very inconsiderate on her sister's side. I think it's very sad. I mean,
I think so.
um, in a way, not to be insensitive, if it was a random family friend, fine. Not that their disability doesn't matter, but
No, I agree.
if they're not your tight knit family, then choose your venue. Fine. But if that's your sister, knowing she's in a wheelchair, and you still choose a venue that is not wheelchair accessible, that's just very, very inconsiderate. Like, yeah, it's your wedding, it's your day, it's your venue, but see, like a couple episodes when we were doing the wedding one, where we're talking like it's your wedding, your rules, but this is where rules should be also kind of pushed aside in a sense, because if that was my family member and we were getting married, one of the first things I would do is like, no, we need a venue that's wheelchair accessible so they can be there. And also, like, how embarrassing for her for people to be carrying her throughout the wedding to go to the
Yeah,
bathroom
that's
and thing. Like,
awful.
it's very condescending.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So she's not an. In the end, if they want to go with the wedding, fine. Would I go if I was in her position? Probably not. And I feel like she's being very nice.
Yeah.
But no, she's not.
I completely agree. I think it's a matter of where your priorities lie. If your priorities are this specific venue or having your sister at the wedding, then
that's my take. It's like, okay, what's more important, the venue or your
having your sister? Yeah.
Like,
and from what it sounds like they're very close sisters. Like they're not just like distant. We talk every once in a while. Like it seems like they're very close.
Yeah.
So I don't like that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel icky.
What are the comments?
Overall vote is absolutely you would not be the.
Yeah.
Top comment is you have more of a responsibility to yourself and your physical health and safety than you do your sister's wedding day. For anyone who gives you grief about that, the argument you use is they've picked a venue that's not accessible to me, so I can't go. And I agree with that. There's a couple other comments that are like, if you really want to be there, maybe see if you can get a live stream or something. Which, like, yeah, but, like, you shouldn't be having to do all that. Your sister should just be considerate enough to know what's going on. Especially, it seems like she's been in a wheelchair, like, her whole life.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
So it's not
nothing
like
new.
Right. It's not like this just happened yesterday.
Yeah. And even if it did happen yesterday, like, okay, this is a situation now.
We're finding a new venue.
We're finding a new venue. That's just how I would think.
No, same. Especially, like, I don't have a sister, but if I did, I'd want her at my wedding.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Rude.
Yeah. Very inconsiderate.
Yeah.
I have one last story for us today. Coming from r/am I 13 days old. Titled, Am I the asshole for making my sister's gender reveal cake gray because she wouldn't tell me the gender?
I'm sorry.
No, that's a joke. I wanted to end on a slightly lighter note.
That's something I would do. You didn't tell me the gender. It was great. Have fun. Sorry.
I, 23 male, bake as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Like, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers, kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make the cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the info so I could prep the inside, classic pink or blue filling. She says, oh no, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral on the outside and we'll figure it out together. I was like, huh? So you want your gender reveal cake with no gender reveal? She says she'll have someone else email the info to me later. That someone never did. Deadline comes and I still have no gender. So I make the cake. It's gray inside, gray outside.
I'm trying to picture gray cake on the inside. That looks so unappetizing.
This next comment's even worse. Just full on cement vibes.
That's what I was thinking. It just looks like a cement cake shake.
I even added little fondant clouds for effect. But it still tasted great. Visually, grim as hell. The reveal day comes. They cut into it, and my sister looks pissed. Her husband is confused. People start murmuring, and then she pulls me aside. Like, why would you make it gray? That's so passive aggressive. Calmly reminded her that no one told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with. I told her I wasn't about to guess or go full on improv on someone's baby cake. Now, my mom says I embarrassed her in front of the family and that I should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Summon the gender through vibes? So, am I the asshole for making the most neutral reveal cake ever?
She's funny. Would I have legit done that? Probably not. I think it's just really, really funny.
I do too.
And it's innocent,
Yeah.
but it has such a big impact. Like, I get it. Like, she was, they told her they wanted a gender reveal cake. She never got the gender. Like, that is your responsibility to send, whether it's her sister, right?
Yeah.
Whether to send it to her sister or like a bakery, like
Right.
they're gonna want to know.
Yeah, they need to know.
I don't know if, even though it's not a responsibility, I don't know if OP reminded her like, hey, I still don't have a gender from this person. What's going on? That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Like, if it came down to the deadline and I didn't have any information, I would have talked to her, be like, I still don't have anything. Like, what do you want me to do?
No, for sure.
I think it's still funny.
If I was the sister, though, I would honestly think it's hilarious. Granted, pregnancy hormones might make me think otherwise.
Fair.
But if I
Fair.
cut into the cake and I was like,
It's
oh,
gray outside,
we're just
gray
having a gray
inside.
baby. Perfect.
That's funny. That's really funny.
There is someone in the comments basically asking the same thing that you were saying, like, I'm confused. Did you not take the opportunity to message anyone as the date was coming closer? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I haven't got it yet. OP responds and says, I actually did follow up.
Oh.
Asked her a couple days before the reveal if the info had been sent. And she said something like, yeah, someone's taking care of it. I figured it was handled. I didn't want to pester her since she's all hormonal and she seemed chill at that time. If she really wanted the gender in the cake, she could have double checked too.
Right.
Other comments. Next comment says, you're the one making the cake. If you can't do it because you don't have relevant information, that's on you. Either be pushy or cancel the job completely. Which, like, I guess.
I don't 100% agree with that.
No, me neither.
Because in the end, it's still going to be the responsibility of the pregnant woman.
Yeah.
To let her know, like, hey,
so-and-so sent it over.
thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
They didn't send the info. I'm going to let them know so you could send it. And I'm pretty sure she's probably not even charging her.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Assume they're sisters.
I could be totally wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure she's not even charging her. So in the end, like, give me the tools to work with, the info to work with, so I could do my job. If you're not giving me that, then what do you want me to do?
No, I agree. I feel like Reddit didn't really agree with us.
Really?
Overall vote on this one is
Really?
Yeah. Which I understand. Gender reveals are a sensitive thing, but
it's like, if I
think it's
have to, and you know this about me, if I have to pry information out for me to do something you asked me to do,
yeah,
like, it's gonna come. It's not my gender reveal part.
No,
like,
literally.
I
it's
mean,
not
like,
your baby.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I asked you. You still didn't give me information. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. And like constant reminders too. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like a, hey, is anyone gonna send it to me?
If she didn't remind her and she still did it, I would be like, okay,
Yeah.
it's petty. But if she still reminded her and nothing was still sent, then
Yeah.
okay, I'm just gonna improvise.
Yeah.
That was good improvisation. maybe in the pregnant woman's defense, maybe he
Pregnancy
could have
free.
done yellow or green.
All my baby clothes were green, bro. I don't
Because
think that's better.
they were
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe he could have done green or yellow, but I still think they would have been upset because they still wanted a gender reveal
Yeah.
cake. So it should have been pink or blue.
Right. I think like if I was the pregnant sister, once I got the text of like, hey, I haven't gotten any info, not only would I text whoever's supposed to give the info, but I would also text my sister saying, hey, here's this person's phone number that's supposed to have it. You contact them too.
And then it's
Like,
their responsibility. It's their party.
yeah.
You're just helping.
I just can't imagine just cutting open. You're so
I totally
you're
see
so
it.
excited to see like pink or blue, and it's just gray.
Just gray.
I would die
That's
laughing.
hilarious.
That is all I have for us
Those
today.
are good today.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for watching, guys.
thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and comment your take down below. And also, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. There's going to be a new show every Friday. Thanks.